Live from New York City, it's the Gary Null Show. And now, your host, Gary Null.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Null. Once again, it's a pleasure to be able to share some positive insights how we can live a longer and healthier life. We begin with a study from Yunnan University in China. It talks about the magic of mushrooms. Can this fungus help delay or prevent depression? Well, the answer is yes. Bioactive compounds found within the mushroom, this is an edible mushroom, can delay or prevent the onset of neurological conditions like depression. And the paper published in the Pharmaceutical Biology, a major peer-reviewed journal, reveals the potency of certain polysaccharides. These are the natural chemicals found in the mushroom. Let me spell the mushroom for you. It's called Grifolia, Grifola, and the last name is frondosa, Frondosa. It demonstrated potential as a safe medicinal food supplement. Now, you've heard people talk about, well, foods are good because they satisfy our appetite. But that's not the purpose of food. Food is supposed to function in the body. After all, everything in your body was built because what you consumed. So the quality of your diet is directly related to the quality of your health and the time of your aging. What do I mean? I mean this, that we have biological clocks. They're called telomeres in every cell of the body, every organ. And that's why sometimes a heart will go out, or lungs, or kidneys, or liver prior to another organ. And then a person can either try to get that fixed or replaced. And with new genetic engineering, we believe in the very near future, there will be human-compatible DNA that will be able to repair a diseased liver or heart or even brain. Now, that's different from trying to control with artificial intelligence or transhumanism your personality or your beliefs or behavior, or block your thoughts or control your thoughts. Totally different. So when we eat a food, we know that when we eat an orange, we're getting bioflavonoids and vitamin C. We're getting a lot of very important nutrients that help stimulate our immune system in a good way. Vitamin D3, the same. These are functional nutrients. A functional nutrient has a function in the body that helps it. Whereas your common diet, the meatloaf and the hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries, pizzas, all that does not function in the body. To the contrary, it functions in a negative way because it causes inflammation. And after a point in time, inflammation then causes swelling, hence the swelling of the joints, the pains, the muscles. And then you start taking medication to relieve the symptoms of the pain. Doesn't change the pain, just changes your sensation to feel it. And then you end up with side effects. I'll give you a good example. I'm helping a person right now as their advocate, meaning I'm working with their doctors, and they got a whole bunch of doctors, oncologists, neurologists, gastroenterologists, spinal experts. And why? Because a person has at least 5 major deadly diseases. All of those diseases could cause death. And when I was looking at this long list of drugs the person was taking, 3 of those were for blood pressure. Okay. If that saves a person's life, I'm all in on it. But then I looked in the physician's desk reference, and 2 of the 3 drugs caused acute liver failure, acute renal failure of the kidneys. And now the person was not even told that they have acute renal failure. Well, that's a major disease. Acute failure of the kidneys means dialysis and then death. And yet this person was not even told they had the condition. So when I spoke as the advocate for the patient with the doctor, I said, could you please tell me why you have this person on 3 blood pressure lowering medications instead of asking how much sodium she's consuming? It turns out she was eating a lot of fast foods, mostly fast foods, And just one fast food meal can easily give you 5,000 milligrams of sodium. The entire daily requirement is only 800. Now, mind you, if you get what most people get, French fries, hamburger, you're getting 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams of sodium in one meal. Now, that doesn't include everything else you eat that day. No wonder we are a nation of high blood pressure. And in any case, he did not talk to her about lifestyle, changing her diet, exercising, cleansing the system, nor did he look on the physician's desk reference. He said his comment was, "Oh, well, that was given by another doctor." I said, "Excuse me, anytime a doctor is seeing a patient and the patient presents with medications, it is the doctor's responsibility to determine if any other medications are being given, that they're not contraindicated. They're not working against each other." He didn't want to talk about it, but that's what this person was not aware of. So by getting the person off, and at my suggestion, he got them off, and by giving the person a proper and healthy plant-based diet, controlling the sodium, lots of green juices, cleansing the system, and lots of hydration to the kidneys to throw out the pollutants, the person, as of today, I just spoke to him this morning, the blood pressure is normal, but also a fasting blood sugar level that was at 190. And that's fasting, waking up in the morning. That didn't include after you eat a meal, which it really spikes up the blood sugar level with 2 medications gone, is at 91. That's almost normal. Now, if you explain this to the average physician, that there's a lot that could be done with lifestyle behavior modification that could complement a person's disease in a positive way, and more often than not, they won't take it seriously. Some of the more progressives will. But I just want to let you know that everything the person was consuming, I went through every single thing in that person's diet caused a dysfunction, inflammation. One example, the person was eating white bread with cheese sandwich for lunch every day. Person every other moment was hawking like that, with a great deal of mucus coming up. When I went through the diet and I said, "Are you aware that what you're consuming causes mucus, which then causes breathing difficulties, which then causes you not to be able to exercise because you can't go more than 5 or 6 feet without having to stop and clear your throat because there's not enough oxygen getting into the cells." Person didn't know that. But interesting, neither did the physician. Mind you, there's six physicians. Imagine, and not communicating with each other and giving different medications. Well, the good news is that person's on their road to recovery. Now, imagine if you only selected foods and beverages based upon their healing functionality in the body. And that's why I'm saying all of the mushrooms, shiitake, white bell cup mushrooms, all of these all function anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, immune modulating, anti-cancer, antimicrobial. These are the natural ingredients in the plants, the mushrooms in this case. So having mushrooms each day into your diet, sauteing them. I did it last night. I lightly sauteed some mushrooms, and I had 3 different types of mushrooms, lion's mane mushroom, and shiitake mushrooms. And I washed them first because in restaurants, frequently they just brush them. Well, brushing them does not clean them. And and if they're busy, they just might throw them from a box right into a dish. So you take a sponge and wash it down, then put the mushroom between your hand and squeeze it, and that dries it out. And then saute it with just a tiny bit of oil, ideally coconut oil, and then whatever seasonings you want to add, fine. But by dicing it up and dicing up some tofu, you have a high quality protein. You have something that is hormone rebalancing in a good way, that the genistein from the tofu. You have something that is going to help you with your immune system, the mushrooms. And then I did this with sweet potatoes. And then I drizzled over the sweet potatoes after they were done, and I mixed it all together. And then I put some raw red onion in. Red onion is your most powerful healing onion. If you have a half a red onion a day and you cut it up and then you run some cold water over it for about 20 seconds, it gets rid of the volatile oil, so there's no stinging. But it is extremely good for lowering your blood pressure, killing viruses and bacteria in your throat and your intestine. And it also is anti-cancer. So I put that in to give warm the heated food and cool the raw onion on top. And a delicious dish. But I make sure I have mushrooms every day. I hope you do too. Because the scientists at the Yunnan University in Chicago began feeding a mushroom and found out that it made a big difference within just 5 days. So have your mushrooms, and this can help you overcome depression and other neurological conditions. It improves that. Again, who knew? But now we have a good quality peer-reviewed study that has gone through the ringer, and it works. And by the way, I've also found that water-soluble polysaccharides from mushrooms inhibit cell growth, resulting in eventual cell death of cancer cells. And in contrast, a specific fraction isolated from a non-mushroom encouraged the development of a collagen-induced arthritis. So the food you eat can either cause a disease or prevent a disease. Let's pay attention to prevention. Now, from Harvard School of Public Health comes a study about how following a healthy lifestyle can reduce the risk of long COVID. By the way, go back 3 years. I talked about this 3 years ago, wrote 2 articles. You can go and see them for yourself. See the dates. The very month that COVID was announced, Richard Gale and I scoured all the scientific evidence on the National Library of Medicine, and then I put together a plant-based diet with different herbs like astragalus, echinacea, patriarcho, and also nutrients like vitamin D3, zinc, selenium, quercetin, and vitamin C, and then foods like seeds, pumpkin seeds, watermelon seeds, sesame seeds, nut butters, and vegetables, fruits. All of this represented a diet stimulates a healthy immune response. I don't care what condition you're faced with, your body is better able to deal with it if you're healthy, whether it's cancer or heart attack. I mean, just having a healthy diet and not smoking and regular exercise and adequate sleep and keeping a good quality body weight and a low body mass index, low fat around the belly, that helps you prevent almost every disease. And so let's say that you are faced with someone who had COVID. You might get COVID and be asymptomatic because your immune system is so strong. And that's what we found in young people. Over 40% in one study of young people already had COVID, but no one knew it because they either had little or no symptoms. That's the immune system. Whereas older people who had multiple comorbidities, diabetes, or overweight, emphysema, heart disease, they're the ones who are most likely to end up suffering, going to a hospital, or dying. But that would have been true for any disease. So if you have COPD and you're 70, and you have COPD and you're 20, the 20-year-old's much more likely to overcome it than the 70-year-old. So that's one of the reasons that I've done these studies. More on that on tomorrow's show, because all of the different, what we call scientific referees, people who reviewed the 5 clinical studies I did on anti-aging, have given us all their input. I mean, we've been spending 10 to 12 hours a day for the last 3 weeks going over all the things. If someone had major improvements, for example, and someone did, and I won't go into the disease, but they came with a disease, we didn't know it. So I first had to help that person overcome that disease in and of itself, that would have been an article in a peer-reviewed journal because it was all natural. But then we showed that we could reverse that person's aging process. First time that's ever been done. They wanted all the medical records, which hospitals, all the doctors before and after. They had to have independent validation. That's good. That's really challenging. And because this is a major, major report that's coming out. So in any case, what we found is that the vast majority of senior citizens in the United States, and I'm not talking about 60 and older, I'm talking about 40 and older, because in biological terms, when you hit 40, you're already a senior citizen at the biological level. That's correct. You're already well past half of your lifespan is behind you, and you're on the slippery slope down. Now, can you change? Yes. Can you reverse a lot of the symptoms of premature aging and disease? Yes. But we'll get into what it takes to do that. And it's not just a good protocol, it's having the right mindset. But that's true of any disease. So if you want to protect yourself going forward against COVID, then go to GaryNull.com, download the article. There's 3 articles on lifestyle and behavior. And even we put an article out that showed the nutrients specifically destroying the COVID virus and other viruses in the COVID family. So this will help you in the future, no matter what you're suffering from. In fact, there was a senior research scientist in the Department of Environmental Health, and there's an online journal of the American Medical Association called Internal Medicine, and it estimates that about up to 23 million Americans suffer from long COVID. 23 million. Wow, that's probably an underestimate. And that means they could keep this indefinitely. I know people who've had COVID for 3 years, long COVID. And now they're willing, because orthodox medicine has nothing to offer. So hopefully now, with this new report I have coming out and a new documentary coming out, hopefully, well, my editor's on vacation this week, but I'm hopeful to finish it next week. And at least you'll have. It's a long documentary, it's 4 hours long, but it was based on a 10.5-hour webinar I did, which I did not post. But this is going to give you everything you need to help you if you have long COVID. Fatigue, fever, variety of respiratory problems, heart, neurological problems, digestive system problems. And about 44% who develop long COVID compared to, for example, women with a healthy lifestyle. Huge difference. Healthy lifestyle, very little long COVID. Your body is able to swing back, get its immune system back. Now, from Kumamoto University in Japan, drinking matcha tea can reduce anxiety. M-A-T-C-H-A, mate, or matcha tea. So research at the university in Japan studied green tea's beneficial properties, and there's a lot. There's thousands and thousands of studies on green tea. This was published in the Journal of Functional Foods. Once again, very important journal. I look at it almost daily. It shows us what's in the body, going into the body, that can function to help the body. And they found that this particular green tea reduces stress. All right? So, and this was in clinical trials. And why? Well, I kind of knew beforehand because I've done a lot of research and writing on this. It's an amino acid. It's called L-theanine, T-H-E-A-N-I-N-E. Anytime you see A-N-I-N-E, it's generally amino acid. It's a primary amino acid in green tea. It's been shown at 200 milligrams to exhibit stress-reducing effect. I recommend it for people with depression and anxiety, especially high-trait anxiety. And the amino acid L-arginine, A-R-G-I-N-I-N-E, also presents itself in green tea, and it's been shown to enhance stress-reducing effects. So 2 things that can help you, theanine and arginine, unless you have herpes. I've also found with people I've counseled that if they have herpes, high stress will cause an outbreak of herpes, but also high arginine, which is in a lot of nuts, can cause an outbreak as well. So just be aware of that. And then maybe you can regulate how much arginine or goes into your system. So you're taking enough in to get the benefits, but not taking enough in if you have herpes to cause an outbreak. People generally see it in their mouth, a little outbreak. And caffeine is also something that can actually causes more anxiety, and you don't need that because it actually causes atrophying of the adrenal gland. When you drink so much caffeine, then the body's natural source of energy is diminished. So become, addicted. You go on the roller coaster, have your coffee in the morning, you got energy. Don't have it, you don't have energy. Same way with sugar. So just one more thing that can make a difference. And then finally, this is the Karolinska Institute in Sweden, one of the most respected scientific organizations in the world. They found this. They recommend organic agriculture for human health. Good for them. Much more honest than the FDA and USDA that's never recommended that. In a review of existing research, a group of European researchers have identified the benefits of organic food production for human health. The researchers recommend to the Parliament to consider giving priority to certain organic production practices and their use also in conventional agriculture. This recommendation comes from a one-year study resulting in the report called Human Health Implications of Organic Food and Organic Agriculture. The experts list several advantages of methods used in organic agriculture that benefit human health. The support of animal health and the restrictive use of antibiotics in organic animal production led to a lower risk of developing antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which is a major health benefit, kills tens of thousands of people each year. And preventive measures of plant protection and restrictions of pesticide use in organic agriculture led to a decrease pesticide exposure for consumers with benefits for human health. The experts also conclude that slight differences in the content of nutrients, meaning you're going to have more nutrients in organically grown than conventional grown. And it's better for the soil. You don't have the same soil erosion with organic sustainable methods than you do with non-sustainable factory farming methods. But many of you already know that because many of you have come to my workshops over the years. How many thousands upon thousands came during a 15-year period from 1972 to 1985 at the Fertile Farm, upstate New York, about 14 years. And every weekend in the summer, for about 14 weeks, I taught organic classes. A place called Stone Ridge, and it was called Stone Ridge because there was no soil, it was all stone. But I drained out a pond, and it was just a huge amount of muck that had been there for hundreds of years, and used that for soil, showing people how to rejuvenate the soil, add to it. Anyhow, a lot of you know about organic. Good for you, because right now, the major companies, Bill Gates and others, they don't want organic. They want everything to be industrial, commercial, that they can control. They want you eating insects. And as I said on a program 2 weeks ago, we have discovered all types of fungi and bacteria in the insects that are not killed with processing and would end up in your system. Serious health consequences. And until they do long-term studies and have proper studies on insect consumption, then don't buy their gimmicks. One last thing. From University of California in Los Angeles comes a study about snacking on tree nuts, walnuts, almonds, right? Can boost serotonin and boost cardiovascular benefits, helps your heart because it modifies the metabolism of tryptophan and amino acid. And this was a controlled parallel trial, especially people who are overweight. And they worked on this for 24 weeks as a weight loss program. And you actually enhance heart health and brain health, cashews, hazelnuts, almonds, macadamians, pecans, pistachios, and walnuts. You can reduce blood pressure, a major important factor for cardiovascular disease. You feel better. It helps your heart. It's cardioprotective. And the L-tryptophan metabolites in plasma make a big difference in your body. And this was a controlled, randomized study. It worked. So for those of you who've been having healthy snacks throughout the day, just raw nuts, or even better, raw nut butters. And by the way, if you're pregnant, extra vitamin D during pregnancy can increase the chance of a natural birth. University of Southampton in the United Kingdom. This is published in the Journal of Public Health. That's it for today. That's a lot on health and healing. And again, every single day, brand new information. And I was thinking about this the other day. How often on radio or television do we hear the same statements, same information? What's already in the newspaper, what's already been on all the cable systems, people just regurgitate it, putting in their own ideological biases. No, we're not ideological, not political. Everything here is meant to enhance your freedom of choice. Now you know what you could choose. Whether you choose it or not is up to you. That's your choice. But every day it's different. Every day it's new, brand new. How did that happen? Because late at night, Richard Gale, upstate New York, and me here in Florida are spending hours reviewing all the scientific literature so that what we share is the best of the best. And then John LaBelle, with the Gary Null newsletter, takes every Monday and summarizes all the best information on health and gives it to you for free. You just go to GaryNull.com, scroll down to the Gary Null newsletter. But then for those who want all the other commentaries and investigative reports and recipes, etc., Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you can also get the newsletter. 6 o'clock in the morning comes, and all the citations are there. There's a little fee for that, just for the cost of everything. I don't accept anything. I do it for free. So you see, you're getting a lot of information every day, make you healthy, make you happy, allow you to be happy, because it shows you that no matter how bad things are, the better informed you are, the more honesty in your information, the better you're able, from a reasoned point of mind, to make positive choices in your life. So you stay non-toxic in a toxic environment. You stay positive in a negative environment. You stay healthy in an unhealthy environment, even if you're mocked and ridiculed, as all of us at different times have been. I just took it in a good-natured way because people make fun of each other where I grew up, and that's fine. You don't take yourself seriously. If you're arrogant, they get that arrogance out of you. You begin to appreciate humility, because with humility, you can laugh at yourself and everything else in life. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we've got a lot of good stuff to share with you. And if you just tune in for the health nutrition, well, tune in tomorrow. And remember, the one progressive voice in the media in the United States is the Progressive Radio Voices, heard through the Progressive Radio Network. And these people have earned their stripes. Ralph Nader, all of these people, Abby Martin, Richard Wolff, they've been around a long time. And they challenge both left and right. They don't care what your political and or financial or educational status is. They just, if you're on the wrong side of an issue, they're going to challenge you. Good for them. At least this is it. And this is the most progressive listened to radio program in the United States. Back in a moment. We'll share some more stuff with you.
Are you tired of closed-minded programming? Well, look no further than PRN.Live, the home for progressive voices.